Round results is about the community this week. Jakey Venn sitting in first overall, and how good is that photo? Me and him from last year at Magic Round, and then we got the photo this year as well. So love that. We were, as I was saying the other day, we were speaking about his 50-50 call, and you end up keeping Egan, playing him, got the extra points out of Fermor as well, which was great, and he's rocketed into first place overall from being about 15th or something last week. 1,232, which is absolutely wild, and pushes the lead by a long way from myself anyway. I think I was sitting like near 300 odd points behind, and now it's 441 after my pretty average week. I more than doubled my rank, sadly, from 1,200 to 2,780. One of those clear reasons was not getting Kiraz, and that definitely hurts. But yeah, this one's about Jake. It's about these guys up top, and big shout out to Andrew from the private group in 11th as well, and the JBFA Nathan's Chin. Love that. Unfortunately, fell back a little bit with 1,054, which is crazy. Like, he was sitting up there in first, right? And then you have a 1,000 score, and you go backwards in ranks, which is just crazy. So shout out to those guys doing an incredible job. For my team, the round results, we'll go through all that first, guys, and then I'll go through and analyze the last three games, because there's a bit from it, and a bit to come out of it with guys like Preston getting handed bans, who he's going to fight it, and different things like that. So round results came out by the time I got home from work, so we'll get into that, and then go from there. In the other video with the fantasy tip of the week and all that kind of stuff, we'll converge it into one. Now, my squad. Okay, in some parts, just missing out on the big scores, to be fair. Having Toya as a sell, we had Egan on my emergencies, not trading Toa for Kiraz in the end for his high score ever. Just hilarious how it works out. But I hope that you guys took the advice. I did say during this week, I was like, Kiraz, he had that bad week against Broncos, but he's coming up against the Titans this week, and he's going to have a massive week. I didn't say he was going to get his best score ever, but I did say he was going to have a good week. Also didn't expect 3 tries, but he was just everywhere, and the attack on the right-hand side was the play. They left so many gaps. Every time he caught the ball, it was like it was one-on-one, and of course he's going to beat most players one-on-one. So what a freak. He was incredible, and no Drinky, Teddy, these types of guys that everyone had with Toya to come out with that massive score. And if you captain Cleary or Payne Haas, then you did come out better than Terrell May this week. And it's just wild how high these guys can score. And like, Cleary's back up to an 829 price after floundering a bit near the 700k mark. He went 93 into the 50 odd last week, back to a 97 and up to 829k. And that's going to be great for, if we potentially sell guys like that in round 11. And Terrell's almost at the million mark. And if he got 80 this week, I think he would have jumped up there. And then Payne Haas back up to 950 after those 2 back-to-back incredible weeks. So the captaincy continues to change, and it's going to sway from the 90 odd % in the top 1,000 that we saw with Terrell to probably switching between the two over the and Payne Haas, I think, comes up against the Rabbitohs this week. Terrell comes up against Melbourne, which would be interesting, and then we've got Cleary up against the Cowboys, who definitely are letting points through, but can the Broncos? We definitely know that the Broncos can't go back to back good weeks, but can Cleary and the Panthers do that as well? That's going to be the big question mark there. And thanks for all the messages about me potentially being a bit dusty. It's a mixture of sickness, and yes, I was at Magic Round drinking, so a mixture of both there for sure. And now it is just throat and tiredness. So hopefully I'm going to call Wednesday, we'll be back in some good shape and ready to make some good fantasy trades, because it's been a busy month for myself, and I was cheering that I would manage to make ranks in Europe, and then this was a bit of a fallback week for me, but it was more not around my players being too poor, like outside of Brimson with his 28 and taking the 35 from Kitione Katonga. The rest of the guys, scored 50 plus. You had Pete with his injury, but anyone else that was like not fully owned like Pete is, and most people played him, they all did fairly well. So Horsburgh with his HIA at the end. I haven't got the news on Big Red yet. It was in the last 15 minutes, but didn't look great, right? So he might be out as well. But yeah, the team like overall was fine, and I'm still making the team value was still going up. Like when we looked at the rankings there, I was at 13.5 squad value, which is the same as third. Then you've got Cooper in 14 million, but Jake's at 13.7, 13.9, 13.6s and 7s. Like I'm not far off the majority of the top sort of 20 here, which just shows that we're in a fine spot. Just the captaincies, sometimes the benches and different things like that haven't worked out perfectly across the year, and that's very similar with Supercoach for me this year. Whereas last year I feel like I made some wrong calls. This year it's been more about the captaincies and not having Haas at the start, different little things like that, and missing out on the Drinky and the Karaz and those types of guys when they go absolutely bonkers. So yeah, it's still a pretty good setup, pretty good year for myself, and we'll keep moving in the right direction. But we're cheering on Jakey, we're cheering on Andrew, we're cheering on Nathan's Chin, who we just need to get Lukey Boy in the private crew, and then we'll be sweet. But let's head back to my side, and I was thinking that potentially we could trade, sort of save some trades. This was pre-round, and then I was watching Lucas play. I was just like, he's just such an easy watch. I want him in my side, so I decided to hold off on trading Toa, thinking that I could trade him to Lucas this week. Then a few people were like, after the fact, the next day, well, why don't you just make that trade? And then because you're trading Mamouzelos out this week anyway, and I was like, well, yeah, probably need to be at home and not be out with friends and out with the crew to make those like extra decisions there. I reckon can be hard when you're on the fly like that, and had a few drinks and whatever else. So that's where we'll be good to settle in and lock in over the next month and get things right here and keep building to a really, really good round 12 side and a really good origin period side is going to be my goal. But having guys like Wong get 51, Nicholson's been incredible. Loving watching him play and the work ethic that he puts in. Some of the running as well now. They're giving him more footy, and tackle breaks and offloads come with that. So he might be a keeper, Nicholson, which is a very great thing. I'm happy with that. The trade into Aaron Clark for 58 was really good without tackle breaks and offloads as well. Holding Tamale for his 52. Hines was good. We had Fletcher Sharp and Greg Marzu with good scores there. So it generally, like, things are going pretty solid. We had Brimson with the low one. I think he'll leave the side this week. I've had enough of watching him play. Hey, it's the worst watch. So yeah, we'll move on from him. Sort that one out. But Isaiah Yeo back-to-back 50s, and what we kind of learnt was that it was very, very high scoring, good pitch, fast. They wanted to entertain, it looks like. So Isaiah Yeo the last 2 weeks hasn't worked out for him. And yeah, I think whether you hold this week probably and just sell next week would be the play with him. Unfortunately, it hasn't been the perfect season that we would have hoped for. Still averaging 59, but yeah, could be better. It's it was going really well until that last 2 weeks. The back-to-back 50s just slowed it down. Couchman back in action was good. And yeah, Dylan Egan, what a jet. Having Raleigh Smith and him going up, plenty of cash this week made it, I'm glad that I did pick him up for the 38k. People are worried about Joey Lussick, but surely you can't be picking Lussick anymore when you've got an actual young gun. Like, Hands was okay. Riley's there next up. And, if he plays 60 odd minutes a week, I think that will be fine for him to not get absolutely bashed up, but get a little bit of a rest and continue his development in the side rather than out. So Brimson, Toa, they're on the chopping block. I think Wong stays now, and we'll see what's happening with Horsburgh, but I think Mamouzelos would go as well. So Brimo, Toa, Mamouzelos, we can go 2 guns and a cheapie in King Tagia. Did really well also. So yeah, plenty to think about in terms of trade-ins and my squad, but we'll leave the round results for that. The guys that are probably outs. And then we'll save it for the buy, hold, sell and my recommendations in the roundup video, which we'll see a bit later on. Okay, so yeah, let's jump in. Oh, Casual Athlete got me. 1,037. He didn't have a cracking week either. There you go, Matty T. With the 1,073 there. Who else do we have there? I think Mitchy Boy ended up scoring pretty well. 1121. Scoop 1,080. Nath, who's been up there pretty high. 1118. Nikki, 1,050, not too bad. Oh, Yeesh, he just got me by 8, my brother. 40 as well. So that's that one. Private crew. Actually, we'll do JBFA overall league. Who we got? So Jakey's up top, Andrew, then Lucas. We've got Shane in there, Travis, Tom, Hayden, Nige with Booze Clues. How do you end up? 29th now. 11:33. Yeah, pretty good. Contrasting. It's interesting. Double contrasting. And then Josie in 10th. So shout out to you guys. Remember the whoever wins this gets some cash off to get into the league, to get into the JBFA community. And let's go to the private crew just to shout everyone out there. We got Sammy in 3rd, Will with a massive week. I think he went 1193, massive into 54th. We got Kyle had a good week as well into 82nd after falling back a bit. I think it was 13th out to 200th, back into the top 100 there at 82. Dean at 84th, Thomas at 94th, Jeremy at 98th there, and Brandon's just outside. Nice to meet him as well the other day outside the top 100 just. So yeah, we ended up having 20 at the meetup, which was really, really cool. If it's something you guys are interested in, we'd love to meet you guys next year. If you're a New Zealand resident, I'm doing a meetup shortly as well. If you want to jump in the private crew, I'll be heading over there. And jump in the description, guys. The private group, $30 to join right now for the rest of the season. If you're interested in the public free group as well, the link is down there also. So that'll be good fun. That's the results there. And then we get into the Battle of Podcast. I'm into 9th, unfortunately. So what did Jordan do? 11:34, another good week for him. Into 45th, Nick in 2nd, Josh, Austin, Bryce, Josh, Jake, he scored like 1,200 something, 12:13. Some of the moves this week, I got beat by 200, and some of these guys, I think Jake would have been, 10,000 or so, and, I'm 1,200, and then just one bad week, and in a really high-scoring week, and you get absolutely trounced. And the weeks, you want to have the good weeks when everyone scores high, and you want to have your low weeks when, it's 850 versus 800, and that's your bad week. That's the goals there. It was nice to meet Will. 1,052 with, I thought he had Cleary's captain. There you go. Maybe not. Good to see these guys there. At Magic Round, Marky Boy on tour, 1190. Holy. Yeah, so some bit just flying back into contention. We got Mr. Blindside, 932. Oh, -2. Yeah, forget that. Where was all the people that played Sandon? All the Sandon holders, maybe they were quiet this week because everyone scored well. You can't have scored that well with Sandon on your side, like we just saw there. So really, really tough one. With that, let's just quickly check out Supercoach. 35 ranks I moved down. I did end up making a trade, and thankfully did have Preston and Karaz in this side, and didn't do the Gutho trade, sadly. So that was a tough one, but had Ponga there for his 98, Pappenhausen, Gutho to Drinky, there's another 90 points, and I'd sit 1570, which would be making ranks, which is good. Didn't make the trades at all this week, so still sitting with the boost. I'll probably launch in a little bit this week and sort a few things out. If Egan's going to just continue playing like that, then I think Horsburgh might be done as a starter in our sides at this point. We've got Garrick returning. Kras's 150 was good. Jackson Purdue, a bit of a slower one. How's he going to go against the Panthers? That'll be the question. 638 for Jackson now. But yeah, Gutho. I don't even want to look. Gutho to Drinky. What's that costing me now? 822. God. What was like a 37k difference last week is now 180. Whew. And Teddy as well with the 130. Fletcher Sharp against the Titans. It's probably a buy. Yeah, plenty to look at in the side. But just had a few of the good ones. I VC looped Hines in the end for his 117. We had to clear his 130. Krause for 152. Ponga's 98. Paps 80. Katoa 77. Preston 92. Tino 109 in the end was good. Paynehouse is 87. Terrell Mate 79. But seeing people with 1700s and these types of scores there is absolutely bonkers in the results this week. And yeah, what do we have in the private crew? I think 1707 or something for Stephen. For Matty there. I think Stephen had a big one. He's down there somewhere with 17 maybe. Is he in the crew? somewhere there. But Maddie 1704, like there's heaps of 1500s, 1600s there. Was incredible how that one ended up. And yeah, looking at the the Podmasters, I'm into 50th now, so we are falling a little bit there. We got Chris, Matt in the top 50, absolutely crushing it. Kuma Stallions there, 738. Pretty solid week. I actually saw who was it? Yeah, Brandon, 1756. Holy, he was 50k, I think 5 weeks ago, and was 31k 2 weeks ago. Did well last week into 10,000 I saw, and then from 10,000 to 2,500 this week with a 1756 is just crazy. He had Sanders Smith 0, played Mamazelis as well, played Horsburgh. So what do you have? Egan, Hines, Dylan Brown, Kiraz, Toya, Tedesco, Drinky, Ponga. Yeah, didn't even take the loop. Oh, I had Jenkins in there on the bench too for 117. So yeah, just some crazy scores overall. Good picks, good decisions, and it can turn around really quick. So that's what I'm hoping for in my side, is to have that one big week that just eluded us. We've always get close to a really good week, and then it hasn't happened. So hopefully over the next few it does happen. But I think we'll leave it there. That's the fantasy. That's the Supercoach. If you want to look at Dream Team, to be fair. Yeah, it's into 30th in Dream Team. Pretty solid overall. Haven't used too many trades in with 28 to go. You actually don't start with many. I think 42. So I think I'm going to use 14 and sitting in a good spot. A few guys that I missed out on, like Karaz. But yeah, 30th overall. Continuing to sort of hold. I kind of got to 15th or something and just been back, and I think I was 34, now 30. So doing solid in that one. The team value at 15.3, flying on that front. So hopefully those couple of save trades. I'd imagine if you play Dream Team, are you less than 28? I feel like I've only used 2 boosts. Not that I'm going to use the 3, but I've got a few sitting there. 9,000 total score. I don't know what am I in actual Supercoach? Should be more than that, wouldn't it? The way it goes. 11,200. Yeah, the scoring a bit different with errors and missed tackles and tries not being the same. But yeah, to be 11,208. What's that average per round? We had 9 rounds. Yeah, it's a lot. There you go. Average score per round is 1245. So it's been a really, really big year, hey? So there you go. I think we'll leave it there. Results for fantasy, results for Supercoach. People scored copped it, actually. 993. Damn. Lower than my team. Didn't know how that was going to happen. Brought Lucas in. I suppose Fogg went low. Purdue went low. No Marzu. Yeah, one of those weeks. There you go. We'll leave it there for this one, guys. Thanks so much for checking in for the results for this week. I'll get in and do the round wrap a little bit later today, and then you'll hopefully hear from Mitchie. I think he's coming back today. Hopefully he's well and had a good Magic round. Sounds like he at least scored well, and he had Karaz, so that was fun. And we'll leave it there. Thanks, guys. See you later.